Hey guys, Julian here with an almost 1 year aside look at the Funimation and Crunchyroll merger. I felt compelled to make this video because I wanted to point out some of my pain points that I felt due to this merger. And maybe you guys have also felt it as well, so I'm hoping that I talk about it, it might bring to light some of these issues and maybe some of these things might get changed. So one of the first things I want to talk about in this aside is that Funimation changed their pricing. And as a word from the Crunchyroll president, they wanted to change it to more reflect the same pricing schedules that Crunchyroll had. Now, I was very upset with this. Now, why? Because when Funimation first changed their pricing plan, they had sent out an email saying that I could keep a $5.99 a month premium plus if I had resubscribed at that time in 2019, and I would be able to keep that forever. Now that they have changed their plans and that they had announced that Funimation and Crunchyroll were merging, I thought that meant, okay, fine, my $5.99 plan will go away in favor that everything that I loved about Funimation's website would eventually get merged into Crunchyroll. That still hasn't happened. I still haven't been able to import my watch list. I still don't have my important feature, my digital library, the library of all of my physical anime being converted onto the digital, which is kind of worse in my opinion because Crunchyroll doesn't have these features. I mean, there's a lot about the Crunchyroll website I don't like and I will get into later on in this video, but for now I just want to focus on the fact that the only reason why I kept my Funimation subscription going was because it was my one place to watch my anime, both my digital library and what was currently going on. But they had announced that Funimation going forward past the spring of 2022 would not be adding new anime to their library. And I said, fine, let me continue to watch what you do have in your repository, but at that price. It doesn't make sense to me that I should now have to pay more for a library that's not being updated. Now they did say they would update series that were already on the platform if they got second seasons and so on, which they did for Shield Hero, but that drastic drop now of new anime not being added to the platform is a huge issue. And I can't understand how they can justify hiking up the prices when the platform itself is not offering anything new. Right? Again, to me, it was a convenience that you were still even getting my money because now Crunchyroll and Funimation are one company and I am now paying for both Crunchyroll and Funimation, which I get it, was already kind of crazy. But the only reason why I was doing that was that I could watch my digital library at the same time of watch my backlog list of anime that I've added over the years of being on Funimation. And since it's now been, like I said, about 10 months, there have been no changes and some of the anime haven't made it fully over. I mean, by now a good chunk of the anime has moved over, but there were still a few spotty series here and there that didn't quite move over yet. And that's why I like keeping around my Funimation account, but now having to cancel my subscription, it kind of annoys me because I can't watch anything, right? I can only watch my digital library and I feel like that's a big loss to them. Now, speaking about the Crunchyroll brand as a whole, the Funimation brand has been probably discontinued now, and as they said, they renamed the YouTube channel from Funimation to Crunchyroll Dubs. But we've also seen that now on physical releases. I had been waiting for a Horimiya physical release for a long time, and when it did eventually arrive, which I do have actually behind me on my shelf here, it's actually listed with Crunchyroll and not the Funimation logo. Now, is that really a big deal? No, but that really does signify that the Funimation brand is kind of dead. And going forward, it will only be the Crunchyroll brand. And I kind of feel sad because I've grown up and I've have a lot in my collection that have the Funimation logo. So it's going to feel very weird for a while to see that transition happen. Now, it's not a big overarching issue, but this next point is, and that is the fact that Funimation Now digital copy, I think, is basically gone. It feels like it's dead because with that Horimiya copy that I got, I didn't get a code for a digital copy. Now I can understand that's possibly due to the fact that it has the Crunchyroll branding, and Crunchyroll itself doesn't quite support digital copy right now. But this kind of gives them the point that they might get rid of it entirely. Now, maybe they've promised, because I haven't actually seen official word or confirming it anywhere, that they will keep the digital copy and they will import that from Funimation onto the Crunchyroll website. I don't know what they're planning on doing about digital copy. I mean, that part has still not moved and there hasn't been quite a word around that. And honestly, I quite enjoyed that. I like the fact that when I bought my physical copy, I got a digital copy to go with it. Now, you might be wondering, but why? You bought the physical copy. Well, sometimes when I'm out and about and there were some anime on Funimation that you could only watch if you had bought the digital copy. They just weren't able to be streamed. And don't get me wrong, I feel like Crunchyroll is getting around to making sure all anime is accessible, but I still like the fact that when I bought my physical anime, I had a digital representation of it and I could always watch it whenever I felt like it, right? I didn't have to worry that they had lost licensing or it wasn't being offered at this moment. It was there, it's in my library, I don't have to worry about it in case something happens to the disc or I'm out and I want to watch it while I'm traveling or something like that. So to me, I feel really upset that this feels like it's going away, and I hope it will stick around. I hope Crunchyroll will adopt a digital copy, but I have this sinking feeling it's gone. It just won't be around anymore because they'll just be in favor of, oh, you pay for the subscription and you can keep it, right? But I'd like the option of, if I canceled my subscription, I still have access to the anime. I can watch it ad-free. I don't have to worry about it. And it's on my device. I don't have to rip it or anything like that. Now, I get it. You guys could be saying, oh, why don't you just go to iTunes or the Google store? But the point was, I bought a physical copy of it. I have it. I owned it. I like the fact that when I buy movies, I also get the option of a digital copy so I can watch it on the go. I can stream it to my TV or things like that, right? It was just a nice to have. And I find it kind of sad that it's going away. Again, to confirm, there's been no official statement or anything, but it's my opinion of what I feel is going on now that it's been 10 months and there has still been absolutely no word on that. And like I said, new Crunchyroll titles are rolling out now finally in physical copies. There was a bit of a drought when there weren't being any releases from Funimation/Crunchyroll, but that seems to have stopped now. Now we're getting those titles finally being released and they aren't including that code. But another big point I have an issue with is the Crunchyroll site adding dubs as either new shows or multiple seasons. I really do prefer how Funimation did it by streaming one video and I had an option for my languages and subtitles like other streaming services. It annoys the heck out of me from Crunchyroll. When I go to see it, I'm like, I should be able to look for the series and find all the languages listed under the video, and as well figure out what the next seasons logically are. Now there is a bigger overarching issue where now multiple seasons of the animes are on multiple different platforms. I've had so many annoyances with that, but I'm going to save that for a different aside video. Anyway, I wish that Crunchyroll will adopt the Funimation streaming service side, but they did just get a new website, and it took a long time for them to get that website. I don't think anytime soon we'll be seeing this change come over. Again, I could be wrong, maybe they've been working on it for this past year, but they've definitely kept their mouths shut. So, who knows, really. But the last thing I want to talk about is something I'm not sure how I really feel about, and that's the fact that Crunchyroll acquired RightStufAnime. Now, they are an online anime retailer, which means that they actually sell the physical discs. Why is this important? Because RightStufAnime were a retailer not just for Funimation, but they also did Sentai Filmworks animes as well. And another big part of what was on their website were not safe for work titles and merch. And all of those have gone away. They do not sell any of that anymore. That was migrated to a whole nother site and to a whole other business now that deal and import in those goods. Now they did say that they would still honor any of the orders that were placed under those items, But for them to have that much control over it, to like tell them that you can no longer sell these titles, kind of makes me afraid, because now what is going to happen to Sentai Filmworks? This was their retailer. I know they have their own store and everything like that, but I was kind of looking kind of closely, and Right Stuf does still carry some of those titles on their websites, and I hope that they continue to do so, because I don't really know of any other major anime retailer within North America. But that makes it a huge issue to me, because now Crunchyroll has such a huge hold on the market. Not only do they have now a huge chunk of the streaming services with Funimation and Crunchyroll merging, so High Dive doesn't have a lot of content themselves, and for the fact that Sentai seems to be just getting a kind of smaller chunk of it, and Crunchyroll taking this huge part, because not only do they have Crunchyroll and Funimation, they had Aniplex as well, and Aniplex also has 2 animation studios under their wing, which also is kind of bizarre, the fact that they have 2 animation companies under them, yet some of those titles are still not on those platforms. I wonder what's going on. Like, that still doesn't make sense. Like, for the instance, Saikano, the film is nowhere to be found online. Why is this not on Crunchyroll or on Funimation, for instance? I don't know. This does not make sense to me. So, like I said, with over a little under a year has passed, what is going on? I'm hoping in this next year we do get some clear-cut answers to some of these problems that I've been having, and I'm wondering, have any of you guys run into any of these issues? Are these issues for you guys as well? Or are there other issues you guys have with the Crunchyroll and Funimation / Right Stuf merger? Now it's technically 3 companies kind of becoming one here. I mean, they did say Right Stuf would still technically operate on its own, but you do still feel the influence of Crunchyroll on that, right? And I mean, I do feel really sad that the Funimation brand itself is dying, because to me, I connected more with the Funimation brand, less so much on the Crunchyroll. And I get it, Crunchyroll was more in your face, but Funimation felt more homey to me. They felt like they were your pal. They looked out for you. Crunchyroll doesn't feel like that. Like I said, this is all founded within my own opinions. There's no actual sources or anything like that. This has all been based off of my own research, my own feelings, my own use of the Crunchyroll website and Funimation and all of this. This has just been all of my experiences. You guys are all welcome to share your own experiences down in the comments. I look forward to reading all of them. But I think that's going to be all for this video. If there are any updates on the situation, of course, I will cover it all in another video. But that's all for this video for now. I hope to see you guys all in the next video. Remember to take care now. See ya. So with Sony now owning Aniplex, Funimation, Crunchyroll, Right Stuf, Cloverworks, plus I think A1 Pictures, what part of the anime industry don't they own at this point? Like, they own, I think, every chunk and every part of the animation life cycle here. They've got the inception, the licensing, the dubbing, the streaming, and the distribution. Plus, Sony has Sony Music. Is that all? Or does Sony have more plans in store? Are we going to get an anime Avengers yet?